So maybe some of you picked up your phone and you looked at what you have been posting. I'm just thinking about in general, how do you feel when you spend time on social media? What is your emotional experience? Whether you're posting or consuming, or you're creating or consuming, but just curious if we can name some emotional feelings or how, ways that you experience that. Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of feel disappointed because I don't want to be spending all my time on social media. And I feel like I spend a little bit too much, and I use it more of a distraction to life than doing something that I would really enjoy. So.
Yeah, I can feel very much the same way. Anybody else feel that same way? Can tend to feel a little disappointed? What other experiences do you have?
I feel like given the day, I can feel inspired. It depends. I can feel inspired, I can feel insecure. I can feel like that's a great experience. I would love to have that. That's a great outfit. Like maybe I'll try to wear something like that. Or I can feel like, oh, this person is doing this. I don't get to do that. They look so great. I don't look that way. So it depends on the mindset that I go into it with.
What's your name?
Nicole.
Not Sarah.
No.
Nicole, can you help us go a little bit deeper into what might impact the different experiences? So is it what might be happening in your day?
It can be. It can be completely a mindset as well. I think there are days that I wake up feeling a little bit better about myself, a little bit worse about myself, and social media can be a great tool to amplify whatever I'm feeling on a given day.
I think what you said is so important, again, because it's all connected to us. Right? Yeah, it's an amplifier for sure. If we're feeling great, everything's awesome. All of a sudden, if we're not, we go down the rabbit hole and I think about everything I don't have and why don't I have it, and I feel really petty, and you feel like it's not
and
enough.
The likes impact you, or the unfollows. Like when I'm in a good place, I don't even look at like what my followers are doing, and then I do find when I'm, I don't know, tired, exhausted, or maybe feeling like something's failed or something's not going my way, and then I look at my followers and they've gone down or something, and I'm like, oh yes, and I'm like, Iskra, sort yourself out. But it's real, you know. We have to be very honest with those feelings with ourselves. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that.
Did you want to add?
Yeah, I was also going to say like anxiety sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, going back to like what we were saying about like the pressure of like keeping up with the feed and stuff. Sometimes it's like, oh no, my friend just posted like a picture and like she's gonna think I'm mad at her if I didn't like it, or like I need to like pay attention to my friends, or just something like that. Like I just feel like, or in relationships, it's like, oh, they're getting this, they're getting that, and I just feel like I need to like pay more attention and just
Yeah, it's weird because I've been in 2 very different relationships since I've been on social media. So like the first one, never ever posted. He did have social media at the beginning, and because it wasn't a secure relationship, I was much more like, who's liked the photo? And like, who's commenting, and who's that? And then clicking through, and no. Like the whole thing was just a lot. So I was like, yay, he deleted Instagram. It was like, it was happy days. And then, like I said, I would have moments where I was like, I feel really bad that I don't feel secure enough, or we're not in the place where we could have this really open relationship and be able to post that online. Because in a way, I was like, I feel like I'm lying a little bit. This is a huge part of my life. This is someone I really care and love. Like, should I be posting it? So I had that internal thing. Again, it sounds petty that you would even give time to worrying about whether you should post something, but you do. I'll be honest about that. There was definitely many hours spent. New relationship, it was like newish, and it was just like, okay, this is it. And we talked about it, and I just posted, and it was just like not even a big thing. It was like, I know this is something I want to do, I want to share with people, and there was no fear behind it. I didn't care what the reaction was. Here's social media. But it's interesting how you still have those moments where I might see him post something and he hasn't texted me back yet. And I'm like, the first thing you do before you wake up should be text me, and the last thing you do before you go to sleep should be texting me. But no, but we have those funny, and I'm in a secure place, so it's all good, but it does make me laugh that like you can have these weird things that social media triggers that would never even, matter at all in real life. So
But again, going back to relationships, that is also, I'm going to be that person today. But what makes sense is that that's about expectation, right? So you could be using that as an example, both of these, about sort of not responding fast enough to a friend. I think what screens have done for us in a lot of ways have shortcutted our ability to have healthy confrontations and conversations, right? So there might be things, and you know this, you get a text, and you can read tone into that text that may not be there from the other person, right? And all of a sudden you've spun a story, right? I could just be like, hey, Sarah's, what's up? And then everybody's like, why is Jess being such a bitch? Like, you know, like you read whatever tone you're in. Like maybe it's the day that's not going well for you, and that one short text is like, why are there no exclamation points? No emojis. There's no, you know, so we can read into it. And the reason why I bring that up is because, again, around mindfulness is knowing, where are you? You said that story, and what I heard in that was, I am in a healthier, more secure space, so I know who we are offline.
Yes.
Right? And I would say the same thing for friendships, right? Like if you're finding yourself constantly thinking about what somebody's going to think about what you're posting or not posting, or there may be something else going on in that relationship, right?
For sure.
Maybe you're disconnected. Maybe you're, you know.
I get upset because like my best friends, and it blows my mind that they don't come up at the top of my feed because I'm like in the photos with them, or I'm tagged in them, or like I take all of Natalie's photos. So the fact that I have to like type her name in to see her photos in my feed, like pees me off. And so it's just interesting because I know she knows that and doesn't care if I even don't see a photo. Like she couldn't care less. But you're right, if I was maybe in a friendship that wasn't so secure and was a needier relationship, and we didn't know what each other needed and wanted, and you know, we weren't sure where we stood with each other, maybe that would become a thing. And I've certainly had people be like, Iskra, you never liked my photos. Those aren't my closest friends anymore. Because I'm like, you know, that's a lot of pressure for me to be put under. You know, I really, you need that from me? I don't think that matters. Also, obviously, a lot of my relationships changed when my social media grew. Because I started hearing from people that I hadn't heard from in a long time. Of course you did. And I started being asked for a lot more photos. And I even like had people like, so are you going to post that and tag me? I'm like, definitely not now.
But that, again, we could say that in every stage of relationship or success that we get to into our life, right? You hit a certain point, and all of a sudden people come out of the woodwork, or people are there. So I think we bring all of this up because we know in the work that we do, we talk a lot about confidence, and packed into confidence is a relationship model, right? And is who you're being and how you're feeling. But I think compare and despair is a really perilous game online. Because it's a silent game, right? And so we have been talking, and Iskra and I talk quite a bit in the body confidence space about all the negative voices we might pick up in culture, right? Might have been from family, could have been from friends, could have been from media, could have been critique somebody gave you, and then all of a sudden it becomes your negative self-talk. I think with social media, it can compound it because it's both visual and it could be, sort of a self-talk experience as well, right? You're talking to yourself, or you might have a troll or a negative experience online, or somebody saying something horrible to you, because the anonymity of the internet has given us such incredible free will to be cruel to each other, like in a way that nobody, I think, or not nobody, but very few people would have the courage to be that cruel in front of you, right? But it doesn't always bring out the best in us, and so that's why this is less about that. We want to acknowledge, we know that cyberbullying is definitely a real thing, and trolling can be quite horrendous, and people doxing information. I mean, there's a lot of really atrocious behavior that happens online, but I also think how we rebound and react to that is a lot more about us, and about how we build that muscle of resilience, and how we build a life that we feel proud of, whether we're, scaling the Great Wall of China, or going shopping with our friends, or, hanging out with our cats. I'm with you on that. Anything cats gets me. But I feel like, so a lot of this is really about a good question for us, which is just, how do we avoid some of that compare and despair, both in real life and online? How do we know what's great about us and kind of stay true to that? So I wanted you, Iskra, to share with this group, because I think you've got some great tips, and maybe this will lead us into our next exercise, ways that you can unplug in a healthy way that get you back and centered to you, practicing that mindfulness. Now, you've got some about your online presence, so can you talk about some of the tips that you often give for people to make sure their space feels safer for them?
Yes. So I definitely have ways that I protect myself online. Number one is, in your settings, you can actually put like blockage words so they won't come up if someone's commenting on them. So that's just an easy one you can do right away. The next one is blocking, and literally blocking accounts and people that you find triggering or toxic or negative, and navigating that and knowing I don't deserve to consume that negativity. I deserve to have my feed as positive and as loving, as inspiring as possible. Then also, you have to take time to seek out those positive accounts. You know, there's all the blocking and but unless you actually, like you said, are liking and commenting things that make you feel good, following accounts that make you feel inspired. So go out, and I call it diversifying your feed. I think it's really, really important to diversify your feed with the types of people you're following as well, and the types of accounts, so you're not consistently seeing the same thing. And obviously I'm privy to this as a model. I have quite a few model friends or people in my same industry, so I see a hell of a lot of bikini photos on the beach. But I also try to make sure I'm following people who are doing my inspiring quotes or posting, you know, landscape pictures or whatever it might be, trying to diversify my feed so I'm not just bombarded by the same thing, because that will also make me resent the space as well. So I make sure I'm following people from different countries, from different cultures, of different ages, who are going to educate me on different experiences, and therefore when I go on my feed it's more enriching. So again, you control social media, it doesn't control you. So even take some time tonight, and instead of just scrolling, actually be intentional and think, what do I want to start seeing more? Because if you start liking an account that posts, you know, photos of cats, if you keep liking, it's going to come up top. So there's this really cute account that does teacup puppies, which I know, like, it's kind of bad because, you know, they're breeded to that, but it's so cute, and I want to see that, and it comes up top, and it makes me happy.
You know what I did to that point? I started following some more sites that focus a lot on good news, because I was getting so inundated, like we all are right now, in our culture and in our media, where it just feels so negative all of the time. And so I just actually, I listened to this guru here, and I started to diversify just to follow a couple that just have stories that warm my heart, that remind me that people are really good and kind and lovely. So that's great advice for online behavior and ways that we can kind of make our safe spaces more healthy for us.